Hi everyone, Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape. Hey, today is Monday, September 5th. It is Labor Day, so hopefully everybody had, at least in the U.S. here, a good long 3-day weekend without having to go into work. I debated going live tonight or not, and I thought I was off work. I had time to prepare for it, and I figured, I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. I figured I would be able to see or be able to get stuff done, and then if you guys had time to watch it, great. If not, that's okay too. And hi April, how's that little grandson doing of yours? Very cute. Hoping that if you can't watch it tonight, that you're going to be able to watch it sometime this week. So the card that I'm making tonight is actually one that's being made for a purpose. I've got a niece getting married. Hi Lisa, thanks for joining in. Hi Kay, hi Donna. I have a niece that's getting married, and we're going to be doing a wedding shower for her. And in this modern day, most people are being invited via Facebook, which is fine. But we have a few people that are not on Facebook, so I said I would go ahead and make some shower invitations for her. So I'm stamping with the purpose tonight, which doesn't always happen. And I asked her what her colors were, and it's kind of a deep burgundy, succulent green, and taupe. And so I went, okay, what can I do with that? And saw a picture of the dresses the bridesmaids are wearing, or at least the color, hi Kim, of the bridesmaids dresses. And I said, okay, Mary Merlot. Obviously succulent green is going to be soft succulent, so I knew I could pull that out. Taupe was the biggest color I was having an issue with, and so tonight I am doing something I don't normally do. Hi Sandy, thanks for joining in. And I am using a piece of retired cardstock, so I will tell you that up front. I pulled out my last piece actually of Tip Top Taupe, which was an in color a few years ago. But because I am stamping with the purpose, I'm doing that. It's just a small element on this card. And honestly, if you used one of the other tan colors, you could duplicate this card exactly as it is. You don't need that Tip Top Taupe. I'm just doing it because I'm stamping with the purpose tonight. So I hope everybody had a great week. My last week was just kind of busy. My office is going to be moving, and I am somewhat in charge of that. And so there's a lot of stuff going on, trying to get things ready for that and figure out some of the new systems and stuff that we need to follow. And then I had a doctor's appointment, I had a dental appointment, and just nothing very exciting, but it just seemed like I had a lot of stuff going on this week. John and I actually relaxed quite a bit this weekend. Well, I relaxed more. I spent a lot of time working on my card business. He did some relaxing, but he also made spaghetti sauce from a bushel of Roma tomatoes that we picked up over the weekend, and he's very good at that. I'm not, so I'm lucky that I've got him to help me out with that. Anyhow, that's kind of the extent of my week. We've got a 4-day work week ahead of us, and I think we'll be good to go with that extra day off this week. So without further ado, and I apologize, I think I might be a little crooked in my camera. My room isn't crooked, my house isn't crooked, it's just my camera, I guess it's crooked. I'm going to go ahead and flip you guys over and start showing you how to make this card. All right, hang on here. Okay, and we'll see how much adjusting we need to do. Get it plugged in. Maybe get it plugged in. Didn't want to stay. Okay, my worst fear when I'm doing these lives is that the battery in my phone dies, and then what am I going to do from that? So let me see if I can get things straightened out just a teeny bit here. There we go. You can tell I got my bright orange shirt on. It's showing up there. Scooch the camera up just a little bit more. You don't need to see that orange shirt. It'll detract from the cards. Okay, so the card that I'm going to make is going to look like this. I asked her also what kind of flowers she was going to have in her wedding, and she's using a lot of I think she called them woodlawn flowers, kind of the eucalyptus leaf type thing. So I'm taking some liberties perhaps with what I'm doing, but this is the card that we're going to make. I'm going to be printing off the insert, so I don't have anything on the inside yet, but I think we've got to go with this card. So to make this card, it's actually pretty simple here. I want to show you a time savings tip. When you are making a bunch of cards, instead of cutting your cardstock individually and then scoring it, if you set your, make sure I got my scoring blade to be the one coming down, set your card into your cutter, so I'm going to be making, I think, I don't know, 8 or 10 of these, you can go ahead, get it lined up at wherever you want your score line, and drag it through, and that way you've got a score line going all the way across your paper, and then you can just slice your card in half, and I've saved you at least one step in having to score a separate piece on that. If you're making multiple cards, that's also, you can, knock out a bunch of pieces of paper, or sometimes even if you want to just have cardstock ready to go, you can do that on your card pieces and then just stick them back in a storage shelf where they're not going to get bent up. And that would be making, you'd have some stuff prepped ahead of time. Okay, so then the stamp set that I'm using for this card includes the Splendid Thoughts, which is this stamp set, and it's got this fun leaf on it, and then Let's Celebrate. I thought about using Much Love in Your New Life Together, but that sounds like they're already married, and since what we're doing is celebrating their shower, I didn't want to do that. So I just put Let's Celebrate, and then we'll figure out from future cards maybe how we can use that as part of their wedding card that I make. So I've cut out 3 of these, and I've already lost one. That's pretty typical, isn't it? Nope, I didn't lose one. I wanted to show you a little trick when I was die cutting these. So I left the die on here. It's shifted just a little bit. I held it in place with just a piece of washi tape, and I just kind of stick that on the handle of my die cut machine. But when you're lining up your dies, do you see this little hole here? If you get that hole on the stem, and you can see the darkness of the stem through that hole, you're going to have fairly good alignment. Not totally perfect, but I got the whole stem in there. It just helps if you can see the ink color as opposed to the paper color. It's a good tip for trying to line up the dies to make sure you're going to have a good border. So I've got 3 of these. This one's not perfect, but the stems aren't going to show. So I'll make sure I use this stem on my top piece because I think that's going to be the better of the stems. And then I've used this die to cut the bowls, and this is the piece that I'm using out of the Tip Top Taupe. But again, like I said, you could use some of your other colors, but because I wanted this to match the wedding colors, I did break one of my little rules on that. So then the next thing that I did is I used my Mary Merlot ink to stamp the Let's Celebrate sentiment. And this took me a couple practices, so I'm going to recommend that you practice on some scratch paper so you're not wasting cardstock in terms of where it needed to be placed. And hopefully I can get it right on camera here. That's not too bad. We can live with that. Okay, and so there is my sentiment on there. Like I said, I did pre-stamp these and die cut them because I don't think you need to see that. You all know how to do that. And then I am using this embossing folder, and I was going to have the name of this ready, and then I stopped what I was doing and went and ate dinner. I haven't really had to do this for a while though, so I think I'm making some progress on knowing what I'm working with and remembering it. It is the, I know it comes as a pair. Oops, I'm still in dies. It is part of the Elegant Eucalyptus 3D embossing folder collection. So the other folder that is with this has a spray of flowers, but I'm using this one just because it kind of reminds me of this leaf as well. So again, I ran that through ahead of time along with these other pieces. And as you can imagine, the assembly is pretty straightforward on this. First, I'll fold my cardstock over. Initially, when I tried to make this card, I did it on a full piece of cardstock and ran it through with that folder, but I don't know if you can see it. The edge of the folder left a line up here, and I really didn't like being able to see that, and it shows through on this side as well. So I said, okay, I got to come up with plan B, and so I just cut a piece of cardstock. This, of course, is 5.5 by 8.5, and this second piece of Mary Merlot is 5 1/4 by 3 inches. And that way I'm not picking up the edge, but I'm still getting the embossed part of the folder. So the next thing we're going to do is just adhere this. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty short video tonight, because the card is a quick one to make. When I'm have to make a lot of them, I do try to keep it simple. I'll have more time invested in the die cutting process than I will in the actual assembly part, I think. So I'm glad I don't have a lot of cards to make. And then let me just adhere that piece. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is add, I think that was the one I wanted in front. I'm going to flip over these two and grab some dimensionals, and it looks like my pack of dimensionals is getting low. So another get the most value for your dimensionals is I will go through and trim or cut around the border so that I can use these pieces. Sometimes the corner ones are bigger than what I know I'm going to need, and so I'll cut them diagonally so that I get a chunk there. And I guess I'll be using that chunk today since it fell off. And this just allows me to use 100% of my dimensionals. And the reason this is a smaller size is, again, it was a leftover from, I think, one of my paper pumpkin kits, and it's still highly usable. So what I'm going to do is use dimensionals on the one that I'm counting in the front. I think that's actually this one. So I'm going to put dimensionals, and actually these smaller ones kind of work better. The mini dimensionals would work well too, simply because these flower pieces aren't super big. And I'm just going to put 3 dimensionals on like that. And then I'm also going to pop up the back of my bowl here on dimensionals, and so I'll get to use 2 of those big pieces. I think when you're crafting with your craft supplies, you just don't like to waste any pieces of it at all, if you can help it. And then let's go ahead and add adhesive to the back of this, and I'm doing it on the silicone mat here so that if I get stickies, it's not ending up on my work surface. I'm not worried about getting the stem because that's going to be under the pot. Okay, and so these are ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do now is take my card, and I will just put these 2 on, kind of sprayed out a little bit. And those were just held down with adhesive. And then I've got this third one that I've popped up with my funky shaped dimensionals. And then I will end it by taking my pot here and setting it underneath the stem so it looks like they're in a little flower bowl. And that is the card. I thought about putting some bling on there. She's not a sparkly blingy person, and so I opted to leave it. Plus, it'll mail better if I have just this stuff popped up and not a lot of added bling to it. So that was another piece that I took into consideration. So that is my card for tonight, you guys. Mary Merlot, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Scraps of the soft succulent, and I use the soft succulent ink and the Splendid Thoughts stamp set for both the leaf image and the sentiment. And then I also used the embossing folder in Mary Merlot and the Mary Merlot ink on this. And again, this is Tip Top Taupe, which is a retired color, but it was perfect for what I needed, so I did pull it out. But we've got lots of other tan colors that you could use that would, you know, offer you that same tone. So I hope this gives you some spark of, hey, I could do that. I think it would make a cute thank you card or even a little birthday card sort of sentiment that you could add into that bowl, and even just a note or something like that. It's a fairly basic card, but it was perfect for the occasion that we need it for. And go ahead, give it a try. Maybe you've got different embossing folders, something like that. If you do make this card, if you could post a picture of it in the comments, I would really appreciate it. I love to see what other people create. I think we can spark that for all of us. And if you know somebody who may like this video, by all means, share it with them. Let them know that it's out here. I always appreciate when that happens. And I will end my video for tonight and see you guys all next week. Have a great week. Take care and enjoy. Hopefully, usually our weather turns in Minnesota, it seems like, the day after Labor Day. I'm hoping, it doesn't sound like it's going to, so I have my fingers crossed that we aren't going to run into our typical fall weather quite so quick. But enjoy this time, and we will see you all on the next live. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.